So you guys see my screen, right? Oh, you're on the wrong thing, I think. Why is it on the wrong thing? Fuck me, man. Ugh.
I mean,
Why is it
we're
on that?
let's just let's get to it because like I know a little bit about Homura, not really about. I mean, I'm taking notes, so
Yeah.
just let me
Get
know
ready.
like what you think makes this matchup
You know what?
interesting.
I'm sharing my
And
whole
it
live
doesn't
screen.
necessarily need to be like the whole community, you know, what they think. I'm interested in what you think. Like you're the
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
who, you know,
All right.
supported us directly and are here to talk about this matchup
Yes.
specifically. And I'm very
All
curious
right.
about your thoughts on it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be speed running this. Okay. So
Sure.
this is the matchup we're gonna be doing: Homura versus Kurumi, Madoka Magica, Date Alive. All right. So who is Homura? Homura is from Madoka Magica. It's a magical girl show written by Gen Urobuchi, animated by Studio Shaft. It consists of 12 episodes and a movie, and the fourth on the way, right? The series is known for its visuals, its soundtrack, its themes, and for being much darker than the typical magical girl show. And so much so that people see it as a deconstruction of the genre, both for being promoted as and starting off as very generic and lighthearted over time, but gets darker as the series goes on. Homura is the fan favorite character, and over the course of the series becomes one of its focal characters. Who is Kurumi? Kurumi, this is not her, by the way. Kurumi is from Date Alive.
Okay.
Date Alive is a light novel written by Koshi Tachibana, illustrated by Sunako. The first volume released in 2011. The series spans 22 main series light novels and 11 encore side story compilations. The anime has 5 seasons, adapting the first 19. The series is known for its character designs, its soundtrack, its foreshadowing, and being much darker than the normal harem show. So much so that people see it as a deconstruction, both for being promoted as and starting off very generic and lighthearted, that gets darker over time. Kurumi is the fan favorite character and becomes one of its main characters over time. I guess you guys are starting to get it, right? Just a bit where we're going with this. So we'll start with Homura. So Homura's life fucking sucks. Okay, she's had a heart condition since childhood. By the way, Total, are you recording? Total, are you recording? I swear to God, if he's not.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, okay. I swear to God, if he wasn't. So, anyways, so yes, bad school. She sucks at sports, bad grades, all of that. Her life fucking sucks. Okay. Homura pondered that maybe I'd be better if I was dead. Well, thankfully, she finds herself in a witch's labyrinth, being and about to be attacked with what's called a witch, beings that feed on humans, and she entered what's called a labyrinth, basically a separate pocket dimension. Anyway, she's about to get attacked by a witch. She's about to die until she gets saved by a being in white. This being in white, right here, calls himself Kyubei, along with 2 girls, Mami Tomoe and Madoka Kaname. They were magical girls, beings responsible for harming the witches, killing them. They're capable of granting miracles. Homura's life was saved that day, gaining not only an admiration for these girls, but also something Homura never had before: a friend. Now, who is Kurumi? Whoops, wrong slide, sorry. So Kurumi was once a human, okay? Kurumi's life was fucking great. Daughter of a rich family. Now, Kurumi was the opposite. Loved by everyone, good grades, good at sports. Guys hit on her all the time. All the time.
Okay.
She lived out her days with her best friend, Sawa, okay? Now, the thing that struck about Kurumi is she has an unyielding sense of justice. Kurumi always tries to do the right thing, almost to a fault, especially with cats. Take the craziest cat person you've ever met in your life. Times it by 1,000,000, you got Kurumi. Unfortunately, as great as Kurumi's life is, there's one teeny tiny problem. She's a Japanese high school girl. So what does that mean? You get attacked by a monster. You get attacked
naturally. It
yeah,
always happens. Yeah.
you get attacked by a monster. So as she's about to get attacked, Kurumi gets saved by, you guessed it, a being in white. Now, this being in white calls herself Mio, and Mio is a spirit, and it's her job to fight these monsters. And then Mio was like, "Hey, Kurumi, you want to help me fight these things?" Now, any ordinary person would have said, "Yeah, I leave. I go home. I'm tired. Bye-bye." But for reasons Kurumi cannot describe, she actually accepted Mio's offer, giving her the very same powers that Mio has. I'm going back and forth because I want to guys see the connection. So over the next few weeks, back to Homura. I'm sorry, this is going back and forth.
No, it's all good.
Homura's new life seemed better, brighter, each day seeming better and better. Mommy and Madoka became part of Homura's life, people she looked up to, their bravery and kindness. Not to mention, they left Homura in awe all the time. And over the next few weeks, they would show Homura the ropes of being a magical girl. Her life seemed great until one fateful day on April 30th. Walpurgisnacht came, one of the most powerful witches of all. Madoka and Mami both fucking died. Homura was distraught, but it's okay. It's all good. Because remember that fucking talking cat we talked about earlier? Well, his name is Kyubey, and he could grant wishes. So he said, okay, I'll grant any wish you want. And in exchange, you're going to fight these fuckers just like Madoka. And hence, Homura's destiny was set. Her wish was simple. She's going to go back in time and repeat her meeting. But this time, instead of being the one protected, she will protect Madoka. But how does she do this? Well, Kyubey gave Homura a soul gem. This is basically what he's doing is taking your literal soul, sucking it out of your body, and putting it in this soul gem. So yes, this literally houses your soul. It usually takes the form of a orb, a crystal type thing. However, when you transform, it takes the form of a piece of your clothing. Now, a girl's power is dependent on two things. This is like, Ben, you might not be familiar with. Your potential and your emotions. But your potential, also called your karmic destiny, is basically how much influence you have over other people. This is all determined before you become a girl, before you make your wish. So like, you're popular, you're nice to everyone, you're well known. All of this increases your potential. Now, your emotions. The PSP game calls it emotional value. That's the word I use. Basically, the more emotional you are, the more powerful your magic. However, there's a drawback. Your soul gem will draw impurities quicker, corrupting it faster. When that happens, you can't use your fucking magic. Now, as a magical girl, you get the classic strength, speed, durability, as like every fucking fictional character in fiction has. Basic telepathy. You can enhance regular weapons with magic. You can detect other magical girls, make barriers, etc. One interesting thing, though, is that because your body doesn't house your soul anymore, you can fuck that shit up as much as you want. Cut your arm off, stab your heart, rip yourself in half. It don't fucking matter. As long as your soul gem is intact, you're okay.
You're fine. Okay.
You're fine. You're okay.
Does it like instantly regenerate or like?
No, it costs you magic. It costs you magic.
Okay.
There are some abilities like Sayaka's one. She could do it much faster because her wish was about healing. Which brings us to, you also get a unique ability tied to your wish. So Homura's wish to go back in time and protect Madoka takes the form of a shield that doubles as a sand timer. When the flow of sand is stopped, time around Homura stops. There's about 1 month's worth of time in here, and the closer you are to the date with Walpurgisnacht, the less time you have. So basically, it's a time stop, right? There's one more drawback, though. Anyone who makes physical contact with Homura is immune to the time stop effects. Now, Homura could also stuff stuff inside her shield. Basically, she stuffs weapons. What does she like to stuff? Guns, and more guns.
Yeah,
baby.
there we go.
Guns,
Gun girl.
Yeah, when I was looking this up, I was like, I know, like I've heard of it before, and I know it's a magical girl anime, and so like, and I went and I pulled it up, and like, there's like a picture of her, and she's holding a gun, and I was like, okay.
Because it's a big reveal when she suddenly pulls out a gun and starts blasting, and the other character's like, what the fuck?
It's amazing.
Homura would often raid Yakuza bases and Yakuza camps and military bases, right? Now, she's had pistols, SMGs, shotguns, RPGs, rocket launchers, a volleyball setting machine. Yes, a volleyball setting machine, a golf club, a net gun, motors, everything, right? You get the full gist.
Yeah.
So in this new timeline, Homura and Madoka would fight witches together with Mami and some Kyoko, Saika, the Five, whatever. Unfortunately, Walpurgisnacht came again. They all fucking died again. Only Madoka and Homura left, and Madoka gave the grief seed to Homura, basically making only that she could reveal her soul gem. So this is what Homura learns the truth. Kyubey is an incubator. Incubators are an alien species who make it their mission to prevent the heat death of the universe, or entropy. To do this, they need energy, and this search sent them to Earth. And they said, oh, this thing is cool. What is it, like gas or oxygen? Nah, it's the emotions of teenage girls. More specifically, when they give in to despair. And that's when we learn the truth. These witches you were fighting, those are magical girls. And thus, you're a pawn in their game. The girls are cattle. You're going to fight the witch. You're going to become more powerful. You're going to become a powerful witch again. I'm going to take that energy, save the universe. Once Monica found this out, she was like, "Yo, Homura, I know you go back in time and stuff, but could you please make it so that I don't make my wish either?" Fuck. Okay. So Homura goes back.
Okay, I do want to stop you real quick. We're just recapping Monica Magic at this point, but we're here to talk about a matchup, right? Like, I want to hear about the matchup.
Yes. The problem is you need to know their stories. That's why. I'll speedrun it. So Homura goes back again and again and again, according to Word of God, around 100 times. This makes her more cold and distant H timeline because she kind of becomes numb to it all. That's when we get another big reveal that, remember that karmic destiny we talked about earlier, her potential? So turns out Monica being the center of Homura's timeline, every single one was making her more powerful in every timeline. And by the anime's point, Kyubey's like, "Yo, Homura, you made Madoka the most powerful witch of all time." Well, shit. That's not good, but okay, it gets worse.
Okay, again, I want to hear about the matchup. I don't want to hear about the story. Let's talk about the matchup.
Okay,
we haven't even started talking about Kurumi, and I don't know anything about Kurumi. So like,
all right,
this is a time traveling magical girl who gets power from emotions and her wish that she made and the soul and whatnot. Like, we can totally see that, but like, how does that relate to Kurumi?
Okay,
like,
so
what is Kurumi's powers? What is her sort of like?
Okay, so I'll give you the theme. I'll give you the theme of the matchup. The theme is chronokinetic anime gunslingers. That's the basic theme.
So she also time travels.
Yes. Okay, so I'll just tell you the full list. So, both Kurumi and Homura are chronokinetic anime gunslingers who have time powers. These powers are tied to a circular object. Homura's shield and Kurumi's Zafkiel, which is a giant clock, as well as they're powered by gems, a soul gem and a Sephira crystal. Removing it costs you your life. Both of them were tricked by higher powers in beings in white, Kyubey and Mio, basically becoming their pawns without knowing it. This leads to them as a revenge plot going back in time to kill them, right? They meet the protagonist, who they become infatuated with for different reasons. They're both known for placing burdens on themselves. They're outcasts for their kinds, all that stuff, okay?
Sure, I mean, they have a lot of connections, but like, connections are not necessarily part of the matchup. Right? I'm interested in the matchup, like,
why you think it would be cool and what you'd want to see, and like,
well, here's one. I think why I bring this up is the reason why is because I want to talk about the analysis segments too, because I think this is a theme that we really haven't done before on Death Battle. We've had characters with time powers, yes, but it was never the main focus. It was always, this character could also control time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've also never seen characters, I think, this tragic with, again, with the burdens, their time looping, the tragic backstories, and all of that. And these are two morally gray characters you're going to see with opposing ideologies. And I think what it gets you to do is, because they're morally gray, it gets you not only to think about the stuff they've been through, but also to feel, to be emotional. And it also helps shed light on both characters who are often misunderstood. But to me, what carries the matchup isn't their connections, it's their contrasts. What do I mean by this? Homura and Kurumi, their paths start art similar, but where it gets interesting is that how they differ over time. What do I mean by this? Well, Homura, Ben, you would know this, becomes more distant and closed off as her story progressed, right? Because of her the stuff she's going through. Kurumi was the opposite. She starts off very distant, but over time learns to open up and trust the others, becoming an ally to our main character and the other spirits. This culminates in Homura's story not accepting Madoka's sacrifice, separating her from her goddess self and taking a fraction of her power. As a result, she's considered an enemy to the very people she considered her friend, including Madoka. While Kurumi actually trusted Ashido enough to give him her power to confront Mio. As a result, she's surrounded by her friends and newfound friends to fight for, while Homura is alone. And I think this comes down to the core of their characters. Homura is someone who prioritizes personal desire and stability, while Kurumi never lost her sense of justice, no matter how bad things got. This leads to the fight, but now in terms of, these guys, they both manipulate time, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're gunslingers that manipulate time, so Ben could vouch. I think there's an obvious example to pull from in terms of fight dynamic and choreography, which is the mommy fight in Rebellion, right? But you can kind of see the obvious one, right? Why we do this. Kurumi is also a gunslinger like mommy. And I think out of all Homura's matchups, Kurumi fits this the best. On top of feeling a fellow gunslinger, you have Kurumi's abilities with Zafkiel and her clones to create a lot of potential for a fast-paced, high-octane shootout that could reference not only Homura's fight with Mommy, but her fight with Walpurgis Knot, the fight with Homura Rebellion, and all that, as well as some of the faster-paced Data Live fights. Kurumi versus
Mommy's a gunslinger too, right? She's got rifles,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do I mean by this? I think the animation works, but what I want to add attention to is the art styles of both. Ben, we all know Madoka Magica's art style. What the fuck am I looking at, right? I think it works really well with the art style of Data Live light novels, which are known for being really dark, especially the ones involving Kurumi, which are very. She looks straight up demonic in some of them.
Okay.
What do I mean by money shots? Stuff you can reference to stuff like this, right? So we all know this shot on the top right, Ben? The famous shot with Mommy, the standoff, right? The bullets surrounding everyone.
Sure.
That one works. The one with Kurumi, was that which is Zaf? Yes, that is Zafkiel, by the way. The clock in the back. Right, she's up in Zafkiel for the first time. Yeah. I love the idea of a gun kata section of the Homura Mommy fight, but instead of Mommy, it's Kurumi.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff you could pull from. My personal opinion, though, you could talk about animation all day, but in my opinion, the best fights are the ones that tell stories. What do I mean by this? Well, I think there's a lot of storytelling potential here. Again, not because of their connections, which helps, but because of their contrasts. More specifically, their opposing ideologies. To be frank, Kurumi hates the type of person that Homura is. Okay.
I'm just gonna jump in and say I think I get what you're putting down here with like how we can really explore the building of their characters through their interactions. And this is a matchup that what you're seeing essentially is not just like a cool gunfight, but a sort of mirror.
Yes.
An emotional mirror where they can see almost like themselves if they took different paths and how they might hate or kind of envy that.
Yes. So
I think that's really fascinating and a really interesting direction to take it for sure.
Yeah.
I also have just noticed you have potentially 50 slides in this whole or more in this whole presentation, which is crazy. I would say we should probably move on to your second matchup here. But we did put an email in the chat here in the Google call. If you want to send this whole presentation to that email, we can take a look at it later on as well. Make sure that all of that work that you put into it, because it looks clearly you put a lot of work. Make sure that does not go to waste, because I would love to take a little bit more time, look through what you put together here, because it's very clear that you put a lot of effort into it. It looks fantastic.
For sure.
Okay, that's fine. This is a PowerPoint. I'm probably the only motherfucker who's doing PowerPoint on this. So do you want the PowerPoint file or the OneDrive link?
Either one, or both even would be fine.
Like
whatever you're most comfortable with.
Like you guys could run PowerPoint, right? You guys have that. You're able to run it.
Yeah, we run. Yeah, we run. It would run through Google anyway. So
I don't see the email. Did you guys send me an email, or is it just?
It's in the Google chat. Like if you go to the Google call, there's a little button in the bottom right that's like a little speech bubble.
Oh, okay.
It's in-call messages is what it's called.
All
I
right.
think.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
It's the Kickstarter email.
There we go. Yeah. Okay. Total, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm trying to find where the. Okay. Open picture.
Well, I don't necessarily want to just jump away. Just to kind of like wrap up things with Homura versus Kurumi. Want to see if there's like one thing that like you haven't talked about that you want to make sure you.
Oh yes, I do have actually. It's something I want to bring up. We talked about it's very complex. I'm gonna simplify it for you guys, okay? If that's okay.
Sure.
How am I gonna do this? Oh my god. Okay, I'll do entire screen. It's more simple that way. There we go. I'll start the PowerPoint. So how am I gonna? You guys see my screen, right?
Yep.
Okay, so obviously the one part of why I love it is the legacy aspect. I've been a part of both fandoms for years. I think you guys have seen this requested before, right? I like to think it's a pretty popular request.
I imagine so. I think it's come up on ballot banters as well. So
yes. I do want to talk about this. Why this is the Yates track, Date with the Devil. Why do I bring this up? I commissioned it. I spent $1,000 on it. Please listen to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Brandon's ready. He's got some good tracks. He does a good job.
Yeah, that's great.
I don't know if you guys have heard it before, but yeah, it's there. And the link, everything with an underline is linked. So there you go.
Great.
So even more reason for us to look.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, everything is linked. The fan art, all this. Anyway, I do want to show you guys something though, an animation. I commissioned this specifically for the pitch, if that's okay. I promised the guy who would be seeing this.
Yes, we definitely.
Go ahead. I want to see it.
This is an example of it's not too long because it's technically not public yet. It's not finished yet, but I did promise if you guys would be seeing this. I wrote the script for this, which again is scripted here. So someone made a damn 6-minute fight as well, bruh. Like, damn. Okay, here we go.
All right. Cool.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kurumi could look kind of wild.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, I talked about simplifying it. My last point. I'm sorry. I know. Trust me. Last point. So I talked about simplifying it. What do I mean by this? So by doing this, we're gonna compare it to another matchup. Let's compare it to Madoka Sailor Moon. Now, don't worry. This isn't one of those, oh, this matchup trash, this one is better. Not like that. What do I mean by this? Well, think of Homura versus Kurumi as the antithesis of Madoka Sailor Moon. And Ben, we're getting to your question of why I have personal attachment, right? This is why. Madoka Moon, as we could vouch, is all about celebrating the genre, right? And the message of hope that both characters bring, especially with Madoka, who's literally the embodiment of hope. In a way, she represents the brightest side of the genre at its best. Homura is the opposite. She acts as the main catalyst for subverting all of our expectations we had when looking at a magical girl. Her dark backstory and complex ideologies make us not only question what the fuck is going on, but also makes us question if it's really worth pursuing personal desire over doing what's right. Perhaps the answer isn't so black and white after all. And I think this is what a Homura episode should be focused on the most. Sure, the time stopping is great, the animation, the depression, all that. But I think that's the aspect of Homura that really strikes, is that subversion. And in my opinion, who better to oppose her than someone like Kurumi, who not only represents the opposite ideology, but who also makes us question our morality. And whose series is also a deconstruction. And that's what's striking here. While Homura's story is about a desire to save someone that could lead you to a darker path, right? The descent down that could lead you. Kurumi's story is about redemption. How no matter the weight of your burdens, no matter how many sins you commit, it's never too late to redeem yourself, even if you can't do it alone. So Homura is the descent, Kurumi is the ascent. Two sides of the same coin. Homura and Kurumi as characters are two sides of the same coin. Just like how Kurumi versus Homura and Madoka Moon as matchups are two sides of the same coin.
Mm-hmm.
If Madoka versus Sailor Moon is the celebration, then Homura Kurumi is the deconstruction.
Got it.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So we got another thing we got to get to soon.
Yeah.
So let's jump into the other matchups so that we can make sure that we get through that.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, send the PowerPoint to that email. Would love to check that out.
Do I just post it in chat? Wait, so am I just posting it in chat? Is that what I'm doing?
Just email it to that thing. Just send it to the email.
Send it. Yeah, email it to the Death Battle Kickstarter email, which is deathbattleks@gmail.com.
Yeah. Okay. Total. Send me your PowerPoint. I'll send you his PowerPoint too. So.
Okay. Great.
Cool.
Oh, so we have another PowerPoint. Okay, then we definitely want to get to it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His is also long, by the way.
No, it ain't.
All right. Well, let's talk about Rachel Alucard.
We got.
Okay, so where the heck is the present button here? There it is. Yes, this. Okay, so I'm gonna immediately get this out of the way because we talked about why we love the matchups. This one is a good example, and what I mean by that is my history with this. I have been pushing this matchup for almost 13 years.
Okay. All right.
I have a huge dedication for this. So Rachel Alucard versus Remilia Scarlet, BlazBlue versus Toho. We've had BlazBlue on the show before. Toho is one of the most requested series, and it gets whack. I will. So one of the things I made was this trailer for it. We had originally another video pitch discussing about this MU, but one, that'd be an hour long, and two, it wasn't finished for the time being.
Okay.
Yeah. If your guys okay with showing this, is okay. If not, we could just
go ahead and click play. Let's see it.
Yeah.
I'm on.
Oh, we've got a date?
That's for today, Chad. Okay, I'm getting the vibe.
Yeah. Vampire girls fight. Great.
Yep. I think that's what's funny because I always loved this idea. I immediately knew when I saw this, I was like, I can understand this. But then when it came to work on the pitch, it actually made me had to sit down and realize, oh shit, the connections. And just to show how wonky the connections are. Why are you playing the second time?
Hey, run it back! Here we go.
We're not playing There we go.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
connection sources. Yeah, so the connections aren't that well. It's just they're young, immortal female vampires. You just get it. However,
It's Molly. Do you Alucard? Let's go.
dude, stay out of this. Anyway, I've been hearing that for the past month. What I love about this matchup is actually just because of the characters. They bring off something unique to the series, and it's with banter, design, their entire powers, all that. Now, what makes this even unique is in terms of the series is just Toho, and we'll get to why that's unique in a way. So first off, let's get to Rachel. Already know, vampire, fighting game, we've already had BlazBlue, we can understand. What makes her unique from Mr. Brogna Bloodedge and whatever that cat lady was we had in Season 1? Well,
Taukaka.
yes. Well, she's a lore-heavy character. In fact, she's mostly the reason why some of the stuff happens in BlazBlue. How? For so? Well, due to being the daughter of one of the most powerful vampires, Clavis Alucard, she is now the head of the Alucard clan and the mistress of the Castle of Alucard, which is this agricultural, beautiful stage on the bottom right corner. Due to her being arrogant, an upper-class stereotypical individual, all that, she tends to be bored. So I understand her because she's now an overseer. Like her father, what an overseer is, they are powerful entities that are capable of watching the events unfold in the world, yet are cursed to never be allowed to intervene. Keep in mind, that last line there is going to be important. Also, little fun fact to show a little difference between the two. Rachel, despite being a vampire, she hates being a vampire. Dislikes the taste of blood. The only time she's actually accepted her urges of being a vampire was when she saved Ragna. Which may explain why he has a red eye. Who knows? So, BlazBlue lore, I think what's funny is, after constantly researching it, I had to think to myself and say, you know what? Nick had a point on how difficult it was. I now understand the meaning of no one knows.
Yeah, when you were like, "Oh, she's a lore-heavy BlazBlue character," I was like, "Oh God!" Like,
what? No, so I can because I talked to a lot of people. I think even Nick said it one time. I may be wrong about BlazBlue got a lot more easier too. It's more so of how to describe it is what makes it difficult. Because, like saying here, so basic timeline loop. That's what it is. Ragna goes to Cauldron. Ragna destroys Cauldron. Oh, what's this? This robot chick looks like your sister. Well, you gotta fight her. Well, she kills you. Go into Cauldron. Let's turn into a black beast and have 6 random people show up and beat it up and give us magic powers, and then the timeline resets. You guys get that? Because neither did I.
Yeah. So just heads up, since we are 15 minutes over time, we only have 5 minutes before our next thing, so we gotta make sure.
Okay, I will rush this. So basically, she's been doing this over and over for the loop, till finally the loop finally stopped. Rachel no longer wanted to spectate, so she finally starts aiding Ragna in battle. The problem is again, she's finally started intervening. What's the problem with that? If an overseer intervenes, their powers start depleting.
Okay.
Next thing. This is just her arsenal. I'm not just going to rush through it. She has summons, familiars, all that. Controls the weather, all that. She has a frog.
There we go.
This is the almighty frog, all that. So this little sigil thing, also a good example. Tsukuyomi units. She also brings units to the series. This one's supposed to defend time. She uses it to basically just block all attacks. She has a pair of glasses that apparently, if worn, attracts the opposite sex, which I don't want to even know. Now, Overseer powers, phenomenal intervention. That's the one thing she has that gives the big gimmick of Overseers. So basically, you know how you have that Telltale game where you're just playing and you're like, I don't like the story whatsoever. So you reset back to your previous story and go do a different task. That's what this is. So
sure. Okay, let's make sure to talk about Remilia.
Remilia. Okay.
Because we literally have like 2.5 minutes.
And
left,
yeah, like you're gonna run out of time. We want to know like
one
match.
You know what? We're rushing
way
this.
over time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Vampire, understandable. Bullet Hell series. This series gets whacked. Understandable. One of my favorite characters. Understandable. Yes, this is official art for her.
Okay.
So first thing to bring up for the series, what is Toho? Bullet Hell series. It's Galaga on crack. So first thing I got a question for you guys. Can you dodge this? That's what Toho is.
That's great. I got it.
It gets even funnier when you realize that, oh, hey, she too is also bored and is childish little brat. So what did Remilia do when she was a brat?
Yeah.
Well, a simple example. She started the Scarlet Mist incident, where she summons this red cloud that apparently broke reality and is destroying the fabric of red and I think it was red and white, which was the exact same barrier that was holding the entire land that they live in.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it has some crazy reality potentially breaking powers. Let's talk about the matchup. Why? Like, obviously, there's the themes and the connections, but what do you see the matchup?
How do you see it goes? Yeah.
Oh boy, finally the good stuff I can bring up. So what I love about this is, let's get the first one out of the way. Music potential. Toho's known for its lovely music. BlazBlue has one of the best musics. We even had a Therewolf track. I ain't gonna play a little bit of it. I'll just gonna say, go watch it. It was amazing. We even had a recent one just came out yesterday, made by another Versus show. All that one's good. So if you want a good example of this in like the closest way possible, this is Castlevania music. It's just Castlevania music.
Okay. Hell yeah. I love Castlevania.
Now, fight potential. So this is where, so I think the best way to describe it is, what if Yoshi versus Jiraiya were anime girls? Where Rachel relies on putting traps out in range, while Remilia is heavily ranged. However, she does have moves that get her close up. What makes this fight really enjoyable for me is how you can handle it, where it's phenomenal intervention, where she resets the fight back to the beginning of the fight and trying to avoid fatal attacks. Meanwhile, Remilia is using fate manipulation to bend that timeline back to the original timeline so Rachel can die.
Okay.
Got it. Yes. Banter, don't even say it. You already heard me talk about the two. Good example, just high horse. What about relevancy? I could just bring up this.
Skip
alone.
this. We're basically at the end here. Let's make sure we get what you feel like is important.
What is important for this?
Yeah, to you, why this matchup? What you see happening in this matchup that is important to you?
Important to me. Well, let's get the first one out of the way, and it's the series. For BlazBlue coming back, I think this series has so much you can go with. One of my favorite fighting games, all that. Toho, I grew up to this series. And everyone can agree that, just like it says, most requested series, people want this to happen. We have, and this one is probably a good example of doing a Toho matchup, because this one goes into the community for both series and the Versus community.
Awesome. All right. Cool. Well, again, like the other one, if you could send this PowerPoint presentation to that email that's in the chat.
Can you do me a favor or chat anybody? Okay, I sent the link in the chat. Could you guys see if you're able to access the PowerPoint? Because OneDrive is finicky. That's why. Are you able to access it? Or does it deny you access? Because it should be okay.
Let's see.
No. Send it to that email as a file or as a Google Drive file that is shareable to or openable to anybody.
That's what I'm trying to do.
You'll have to change your share options in Google if you're using Google Drive. But either way, if you just send it directly to that email, that'll be fine. And we can also take care of that through email communication and whatnot moving forward. We gotta jump.
Go ahead.
We're like 20 something minutes over.
We're costing them. Yay, let's go.
But again, you guys did a lot here.
A lot of work. Yeah.
So good to see all of this stuff. Definitely want to see these in full later on. Thank you so much again for all the support and for the wow, the the passion behind
the passion. That's exactly what I was about to say.
Clearly there. Definitely something for us to keep in mind.
And looking forward to talking about it on Death Battle Cast for the first one, for sure.
It's gonna be a fun one. That's all I'm gonna say. I couldn't get into it, but it's gonna be a fun one. Let's just say that.
Appreciate it so much. You guys take care.
You too.
Thank you again.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, y'all.
Yeah.
Have a good one. All right. Bye.
Yeah, see ya. Bye.